think most people that watch my channel will agree that I am probably one of the, if not the most liberal gun channel on YouTube. I'm a person, I like to see the best potential in all of our politicians. I like to see what they could possibly do right. I like to try to support doing right. In the spirit of that, I'm going to start this video off talking about the things about the assault weapons ban speech the president just gave. Or not the assault weapons ban speech, but the stopping gun violence speech he just gave. I'm going to talk about the things he said that I agree with. Because I want to start off, like I said, in the spirit of working together, in the spirit of hoping for the best, because this video isn't going to end well. But some of the things I agree with, there were a lot of things he said in his speech that I agree with. A lot of things the executive orders are covering that I agree with. Some of those are what he said about providing funds for resource officers for schools who want them. I'm fully in support of that. For comprehensive background checks so that criminals can't get guns. I fully support that. Even the NRA supports that. Scientific studies. Now, this might be where I differ from some other people. Scientific studies into how violent video games affect young children. What ways could possibly be the best ways to fight gun violence. You know, those kinds of studies, funding those scientific studies, I agree with 100%. Because I believe that a true scientific study is going to come out with, you know, just banning guns doesn't stop violence. It'll talk to you about the real root of problems. It'll talk to you about stopping violence before it occurs, not just taking the tools away from the violent people. So there's things I agree with. More cops, being able to enforce the laws that are already on the books. You know, things like that I agree with 100%. Now there are some things I strongly disagree with. And, the things about the Congress action and everything like that, that was all political pandering. It's all showcase because they already know things aren't going to get through Congress. They've already been told they would either be filibustered if it even comes up at all. So they know there's not going to be an assault weapons ban. They know it's highly unlikely they're even going to get a magazine ban. About the only thing they might get through Congress is some changes to the background checks, and that'd be about it. Congress has learned from the past. They even addressed that before the speech today, how they really don't want to act because they have seen in the past, they have labeled time and time and time again how they lose states because of gun rights and their perceived negative image they have regarding gun rights. So they're not going to do that again because a lot of them are up for election. Even right before the speech, they even talked about how it's not the Republicans that are stopping this from going through right now. They are, but it's not them. They couldn't do it alone. It's the Democrats. There's a lot of Democrats that are already saying, will not support this whatsoever. Even Harry Reid has said we will not get an assault weapons ban through. They're downplaying it now because they know they won't. But they still got to come out and say it because there's this constituency that they're pandering to, this upper class white constituency that wants these kind of things. You know, the people that feel like they're safe wherever they are because of their walls and their gated communities and their money. So they're pushing for it. They're the ones that do donations and during campaign time. So of course they have to appease those people. But there were a lot of things said today that I just did not agree with at all. I mean, I didn't like I understand the theater aspect, but it went beyond theater. There were some things that just made Obama completely lose any respect that I had for him as a politician and a person. And I'll get into exactly what they were, but I have to say I saw some of the most unpatriotic things I have ever heard said in a presidential speech said today. Both of the things I heard kind of go along in the same vein. But one of the first things he said is if we can just save one life, it's worth doing whatever we have to do. Basically what he said. That to me was disgusting. That was completely un-American. That's completely the opposite of the American way. You don't sacrifice liberty and freedom for one life. We sacrifice lives to get our liberties and freedom. You don't turn around and trade them off for the potentially, possibly, maybe saving a life. That's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's unpatriotic. It's un-American. I don't agree with that whatsoever. That betrayed a mindset to me that I cannot support in any way. You further carried that on a little bit later. You know, really bothered me even more when you said, what's more important? You know, basically you said, what's more important? These people that like guns or a parent being secure, feeling secure when they drop their child off? Isn't that the exact opposite of one of the things this country is founded on? Isn't this the exact opposite of what Ben Franklin said when he said that those that would, to paraphrase, those that would sacrifice freedom for safety deserve neither? And in this case, you're not even sacrificing freedom for safety. You're just sacrificing freedom for perceived false sense of security. You're not sacrificing, you're not getting anything in return, and you're giving up everything. It's not just about guns. It's about freedom. It's about liberty. It's about personal choice. Now, I agree with keeping guns out of the hands of criminals, but I don't agree with taking rights away from law-abiding citizens to do so. So either find a way to do it right or don't do it at all. Because it would be better to not do it at all than it is to sacrifice our freedoms and face greater challenges down the road and have no way to fight back, have no voice. Because you think guns are going to be the only thing they take away? You think if they can manage to disarm the population, you think other freedoms aren't going to start to be eroded? If you think that, you're fooling yourself and you have no idea of what's happened throughout history. And another thing that really bothered me was this whole, oh, the children wrote me letters. That is the most theatrical bunch of bullshit I've ever seen in my life. Children don't write these letters. Teachers sponsor these letters. Parents sponsor these letters. And then politicians use these letters. Anyone that succumbs to this level of theatric garbage, to me, is at best a charlatan and most likely a scoundrel. And today I see Obama as a scoundrel. I'm sorry. I just cannot support him in any way. And that's going to piss off a lot of my liberal friends. But, I still agree with a lot of the social principles that the left side of the aisle deals with. But I'm not willing to gain those through supporting someone that I think is completely un-American. Tonight, that was just the nail in the coffin as far as I'm concerned, as far as Obama is concerned. And to end this, he did say one thing that made a lot of sense to me. He actually stood up and he admitted there's no way they're going to be able to do this unless they convince the people like me and the people like you, the people who watch gun channels, people that are NRA members, the people that are pro-gun. Unless they convince us that something needs to be done, then they're not going to be able to do anything. And I think it's evident they have not convinced us. If anything, they've pushed us further away from them. These ridiculous, overreaching steps are pathetic. Now, I agree with a lot of the things the executive orders are doing, and it kind of panned out just like I said. The executive orders are going to deal with enforcement of laws that are already in effect, background checks, things like that, giving funding to schools and cops and things like that, and all those things are not too bad. But all the congressional legislation he's proposed is all bad. So there's no way we will support that. And there's no way, I don't think any way Congress will support that. So what I said originally, how an assault weapon ban will never get through, and I believe I said several videos ago that, magazine capacity limits were 50-50. I think that's even reduced now. I don't think they even have a 50% chance of passing. Like I said, I think only background checks. So, you said you can't do it without us. We don't have us. So continuing to go further is just pandering. It's not going to work. And all you're doing right now is you're turning people like me against you.